System starting up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Technical Defects. I'm Joe, your host. We've got our new co-host, Dani B, and we've got the lovely Christina Elise as a guest. Thank you very much for joining us. How are you this evening? Actually, I guess it's still daytime over on your coast.
Late afternoon, early evening. I'm very well. Thank you.
Awesome. One of the things that has been coming up recently on a lot of feeds, a lot of horror fans, obviously, we know some people know you from Child's Play 2, 90210, ER, your book, so many other cool things. But this has been coming up a lot. What can you tell us about that?
I can tell you that I do a fuck ton of interviews. I do 1 or 2 a month, and they're almost always Chucky-centric. And they're for various size blogs and channels and publications and stuff, most of them pretty small, actually. So most of them, I mean, I've probably done 50 and they don't tend to get a lot of traction because for a lot of reasons that aren't interesting. But I had no reason to think that one would be seen by more eyes than any other. Not that I would have spoken any differently had it been. I mean, if I was on ET on TV, I might have spoken a little bit less, with less of a sailor's mouth. But that's how I speak in general. If you read the longer interview that I did, the whole interview, which the title of it was, I think, Chucky's Not Child's Play's Only Badass, which is a fucking awesome title for a piece on me. I swear in every single one of the answers in that interview, that's how I talk. So but when you single out that one answer, and it seems like I just unhinged with anger because there's so many swears in it. That said, the sentiments, swears removed, I stand by. I don't know what other reaction to a competing Chucky project somebody in the original Chucky franchise is supposed to have. I mean, it's clearly disrespectful of Don Mancini and his 30 years of investment and an evolution of the franchise. Going from horror into comedy and back into horror and keeping it alive and it's thriving. And the last 2, Cult of Chucky and Curse of Chucky, did really, really well. I think this timing's not a mistake. I think the fact that the Cult and Curse did so well and that there's a TV series in development is exactly why MGM is doing it. Clearly the Chucky brand has a lot of life left in it and they're just capitalizing on that. And I still stand by what I said. It's fucking uncool. It's uncool to undermine Don's empire. And it could have derailed the TV series, which would have really, really sucked, because I think that's an exciting opportunity for everyone, for Don to get to write 10 hours of story and air it in 10 weeks rather than, an hour-and-a-half movie every 3 years. And it's a great opportunity for us, the actors, to get to be as a family together for that much time and shoot assuming we're all involved to the degree I think we all would like to be, it would suck if it had been undermined. So far, it doesn't seem like it has been, but that would have sucked. So that was where my rancor, from whence it came.
It's amazing. They kind of concentrated on one thing and one thing only, is that it's an unbelievably huge dick move, is what all...
It is, though!
Oh, no, I agree. But that's what they all tended to just concentrate on. They
also used different adjectives to describe my mindset, or verbs to describe what I'm rage. I'm raging. I'm scary, mad. I'm thrashing. I'm like really dramatic titles where unapologetically slams is not that crazy sounding, but there was some that made me sound like I was, out in the street with torches.
Some crazy rage just going off about it.
Yeah. Some crazy bitch out there going off.
What we do in the show is people tend to comment, and we pull the comments up, and I'm not seeing any real comments, just a lot of people showing a lot of love for you. Julian, Courtney, lots of hearts. You're
Thanks, Sam.
I've never seen these many hearts on the show.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. Maybe because they think it's a fucking dick move too.
I think I probably agree. Yeah.
Fair enough. Something that Dani did some research on that I didn't even know about. I mean, I was aware of Delightfully Delicious, Lovely, and Video Vegan, but Dani brought to my attention this book. How long has this been out? I think
I put it out in 2012.
Nice. What can you tell us about that?
I did a spoken comedy piece at a theater in LA called the Upright Citizens Brigade in like 2010 or so, and friends, and I wrote the piece. It was supposed to be a 2,000 word comedy true life piece, and so I did it and I read it, and my friends were like, "Oh, it was really funny. You should have shot it because it's funny, and your agents don't think you're funny, so it'd be a great way to show them that you are." So I did it again and I shot it. I posted that on Facebook, and then somebody else saw it and said, "Well, that's really funny, but it looks really ugly. You should make a short film out of it." So I did. The short film can be seen. It's a 10-minute comedy that you can see at Bathing Book, BATHING book.com. If you go to the film tab, you can see the 10-minute comedy there of the same title. And then I did 100 film festivals with that film. And at the end of a 2-year run of film festivals, someone said, "You know, that's really funny. If you can come up with more stories like that, if you can write more material in that vein, you should write a novel." And so I did. So the movie works as even though the movie predates the book, it works really well as a 10-minute trailer for the book. So you can get sort of a sense of the tone. It's dirty comedy. It's not erotica. It's stories of awkward, regrettable, disgusting sex with disgusting, regrettable men. I wrote it sort of stream of consciousness. I wrote it really quickly, and I wrote it without knowing where I was going to go when I launched off to begin it. But my only goal was to write the funniest book ever written. I wasn't trying to cure cancer. I wasn't trying to write the great American novel. I'm not sure if you can hear that helicopter. But I was just trying to write a funny book, and I'm certain that I have succeeded at that.
The short, so funny. I've watched it like 3 times now, and I laugh until I cry every time. And I didn't realize how relatable I think it is. I think that's what makes it stand apart from so many others. So I know it's won over 20 awards that it's actually won. It's just incredible. I think there's so many women out there who watch it and are like, "Oh, I've been there," you know. It's definitely one of the most.
I don't think I'm a circus freak, and I think the book is even more so. The book is way more graphic and way funnier. I think it's much funnier. So if you like the short, you'll love the book. The book is. I promise you, the book will make you laugh out loud. Like literally, you'll have to put the book down to stop laughing at least 3 times.
I am so excited for the book.
That's a lot of bragging right there I just did, but that's the proudest achievement of my life.
Well, that's very cool.
Well, and being an author, that sets you apart. That's something that you had to really work at yourself, and you really had to put, so much time and energy into that. I mean, that is an incredible achievement. Have you thought about doing a second novel at this point?
Yeah, I am not ready to do it yet. You're right. You hit the nail on the head, though, why it's so satisfying. Everything else, acting and other things in the film industry are really collaborative, and that's a wonderful thing. Collaboration is fantastic, but the book was not. I didn't even have an editor, so it's entirely me. So if you love the book, I get all the credit. If you hate the book, I get all the blame. It's just purely my creativity without any, any fiddling from outside sources.
That's incredible.
I've got another comment here that I'm going to pull up. And Sam, cheers, Christine. Welcome, Dani. Exciting to have Christine on the episode. So nice to have met you at Monster Mania. Thanks for everything you give back.
Well, that's sweet. I don't know how much I'm giving back, but thank you.
Well, we definitely appreciate you having me on this show, and we consider that giving back. Right. Speaking of which, cons, what do you have going on?
I'm doing Son of Monsterpalooza here in Los Angeles. I think it's the second weekend of September. And I'm doing one in the third weekend in October in Manchester in the UK. And I'm doing Spooky Empire in Florida at the end of October. And that's all I have for the year.
Where is Spooky Empire in Florida?
Orlando.
Orlando. Okay. I may not actually go to that one. I'm only about an hour and a half south east of Orlando. It's a fun show. Cool, cool. You have so many cool things going on. Video Vegan. Can you touch base on that?
So Video Vegan is videovegan.com is the URL to get you to my channel, which is Delightful, Delicious, Delovely. And that was born of, I'm a big food person. I love to eat. I've always loved to cook. And I'm a photographer. So for years, I would like make food for myself and then post it on Facebook. And people would be like, oh, it looks really delicious. I wish I knew how to make that. Or what is that? How do I make that? So one day, about 6 years ago, I woke up on the July 5th and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start a food blog. And instead of answering these questions one by one, I'll just start posting these recipes. And I did that for until a year and a half ago. And I felt like the blog had sort of run its course and I felt stagnant just doing it as a written thing over and over again. So again, on a whim, I woke up and today I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And I did. I didn't have a mic. I shot the first episode on my phone. I didn't have a mic. When you watch it, the first like 12 or 13 episodes of the channel are technically challenged because I just didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. I was just insisted that I had to start doing it or I would put it off and never do it. So by the 13th episode or so, the technical stuff falls in place and it's lit well and it sounds good and everything. But it was just an escalation, just the next growth spurt for the blog. And I do everything on the channel myself too. It's much like my book. So the channel, I make up the recipes. If it's somebody else's recipe, I give credit. But most of the recipes are my own. I cook them, I photograph them, I shoot it, I edit it. I do. It's entirely me. So again, like the book, if you like my show, I get the credit. If you don't like my show, I take it.
I think that's probably one of my very favorite things about you as an actress. One huge example, and just as a person in general, what I look up to the most about is that you have that personality that I've seen just like over and over in your career where you decide to do something and you just go full throttle and you do it and you kick ass at it. And then it's like you go on to something else, between photography and becoming an author and directing your own video short and acting, it's just incredible that you have that personality with just so much drive. It's like refreshing to see nowadays, definitely.
Thank you. And the acting thing was sort of a spur of the moment decision in my life too. I thought I wanted to be a director and I couldn't afford to go to film school. I moved to LA when I was 19, didn't know anybody, didn't have any friends or any family or anything here, and didn't even drive a car. I took the bus everywhere for 2.5 years. And after 2 years of being here, I go, I'm never going to go to film school. It's just not a reality. I can't afford to go to film school. How can I get involved in filmmaking without any training or any skills? I know I'll be an actor and then I can be on sets and learn how to do the things I want to do on the job. And because I was 20 years old or so, but I really looked 15. I had a baby face and I really looked 15. So I played high school for about a decade. And I worked quickly because I was older and more sophisticated and they could hire me as an adult, but I still played really young. But that was sort of a whim decision too. And then once I started working as an actor, I realized I really loved it. And I was really intimidated by the other jobs on the set. I was really intimidated by what directors do and complete awe of what writers do. And so I was like, I'll take this job where all the work is done before I show up. They dress me, they paint my face, and they give me the words to say. It's like the easiest job. So,
but you have a really natural talent for it, though, which is just incredible. I mean, I'm a huge fan of your work.
Thank you.
That is awesome. I got a couple of more comments that I need to put up there if I could, please. Lynn is waving. Hi, Lynn. And we've got Selena with all these hearts. I'm telling you, there is much love.
I'll take the love where I can get it.
So I'm going to ask one of those cliche questions. So dream role right now, what would it be?
I've never had an answer to that question. Because nothing specific, like I want to play Joan of Arc or that kind of thing.
So see, I figured you of all people would have like this great elaborate answer for this question.
Oh, the answer is like, well, yeah, I would like to be Nikita in La Femme Nikita, but that girl in the French La Femme Nikita crushed it. I couldn't do a better job than she did, So there's roles that I admire. there's no roles that I look at and think I could have done that better. Very few that I look at and think I could have done it better. It's just I just don't have that sort of ego, I guess. But I will say that the answer I give is that I would like I used to say a big film career. I wanted a film career like Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know, that's the sort of career I would like to have, where you do a lot of independent, critically acclaimed stuff, and you get to be involved in the bigger budget, big money projects as well. That's sort of, so if I could have somebody's career, it'd be a career like Philip Seymour Hoffman's, or, I mean, look at Meryl Streep. But she's such a cliche answer. Everybody would want her career. But so the answer to the question specifically is I used to say film, now I'd say TV. TV's come a long way. Cable has changed TV. The smarter, edgier projects are happening on Netflix and on Hulu and, you know, on Amazon Studios and stuff, making really edgy, great content. Used to be The Sopranos was the only show of that kind in existence, and now there's dozens of American ones, and then dozens of Icelandic ones, and French ones, and German ones, and Belgian ones, and I watch all these European series too. So I would say a smart, edgy TV series that's popular and critically acclaimed. The best version of that in America would be Breaking Bad or The Sopranos. Nice long-running shows that there are very few detractors of. You know, or The Wire. The Wire is one of my favorite shows of all time. So that sort of thing.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Dani,
so cool.
What do you have for Christine?
You know, I wanted to bring up some American Hardcore, actually, with you. I'm a huge fan of that documentary, and I wanted to kind of just talk to you a little bit about the punk movement and how it affected you at the time, and if it still has an effect on you today, and what your feelings are on the music and that stuff.
As far as the music goes, hardcore was never my preferred genre of music. I got sort of involved with the hardcore crowd in Boston because I was already involved in the broader punk rock scene and the broader music scene, just as a fan going to see bands in tiny clubs. My parents took me. My parents helped me get a really legitimate fake ID, and my parents brought me to these clubs to see these bands. And in going to nightclubs from the age of 14 until I left Boston at 19, and I probably was in clubs hundreds of times, never had a single drink. I didn't drink in high school, was straight edge. And but the reason the hardcore thing became important to me because they were my age. The hardcore crowd were my age. And the bass player for a band called SSD or SSD Control was one of my first friends in that. I met him at a Dead Kennedy show at a little club in Boston. I was attending the show with my stepdad. And he became my best friend very quickly. And then they started the band. And then the singer in SSD was my boyfriend all through high school. So I had this, like, for a girl, it's difficult to get so grandfathered in, and I was gifted the respect of everybody in that community just because I was there before they were, and because they met me through two people that they admired. So, and these people, these boys, and and there was a few girls too, remain my chosen family to this day. They're my oldest friends. We're very close and stay in touch and see each other, and we're like, that's not a community that dispersed, you know. But punk rock in general, what was good, I was a poor kid. I grew up on welfare. I was a poor kid. I was a chubby kid. I had glasses since kindergarten. And so I was not the kind of kid that should have gotten picked on a lot. I didn't, for some reason. I think I learned early that if you let kids pick on you and you reacted, then they'd keep picking on you. If you didn't react, they'd stop. And so I didn't get picked on. I was sort of allowed to float around in cooler kids' crowds. Like, I'm talking in 5th and 6th grade where nobody's fucking cool. But I always stuck up for the underdog kids, and I really wanted to be invisible. I couldn't afford the kind of clothes. I couldn't afford an Izod stupid polo shirt, and I couldn't afford Nikes, and I couldn't have those things. And when I found punk rock, it allowed me to express myself in a way that I hadn't before. And in that community, you were admired for being different, not from being a conformist. And conformity is not actually the core of who I am. I'm actually sort of confrontational and more creative than that. So what it did was, although I became punk rock, I got picked on everywhere I went, on the bus and in the street waiting for the bus, on the train, and in school. People yelled "Rock Lobster" and "Whip It" at me every day of my life, and I would be threatened sometimes. But it was a pariahhood, you know, it was an outsiderness that I had chosen for myself. And so it didn't feel like being bullied. It felt like I was empowered and they were losers. And they just didn't see how fucking cool I was. And so I was not threatened. I thought they were, it's like being picked on now by a Trump supporter. I don't think that I'm less. I think that they're stupid. So that at such a young age, at 15 or so, to choose to be an outsider and then be rewarded for it by a community of people that were like-minded, I think absolutely informs who I am to this day. I still don't feel the need to apologize for myself. I don't feel the need, unless I do something wrong that I'm embarrassed by. But in general, I don't apologize for myself. I don't apologize for that remark I made about the reboot of Chucky. And I don't see why speaking your mind, if it's your real truth, I don't know why you should ever have to apologize for that, unless you're a fucking white supremacist or something and you're horrible and you should be legitimate, wholesome opinions. I don't think anyone should apologize for them.
I really wish there was more people like you, especially like from my generation and the younger generations that are coming up. I wish we had more people like you, I think, to look up to and to learn from. You stand out so much, and that's just, it's so incredible to have some
very high praise. You're embarrassing me. It's very sweet of you. Thank you. That's a lot. Thank you.
And that's why I was trying to stay out of it.
I thank you. Like I said, you make such an impact. I don't think you realize that just from the people that I've talked to, and you make a huge impact.
Oh, well, yay! Thank you. Hope a good one.
And I had one more question for you, actually, if you have some time. I was curious if do you have a favorite horror movie or series that you've seen that stands out?
My stock answer to the favorite horror movie is The Exorcist. One of the first I think I probably saw Jaws before I saw The Exorcist, and Jaws is awesome. But The Exorcist remains, I think, my favorite. More contemporary ones, I'm a fan of the one, I really liked Let the Right One In. I was amazed that the American remake of it was really true to the original and almost as good as the original, which was nice. This one, I think, with Liv Tyler is it called The Strangers? I think it's called. I like You're Next. There's a film called You're Next that I really liked. I like ones that are more psychological in nature. I'm not a big jump scare slasher type. That's not my favorite sort of horror movies, but I like this sort of broodier ones that feel like they could really happen, and they have some stakes for the people beyond just, don't go in the basement because he's going to kill you there, or don't go skinny dipping with your boyfriend because for sure you're going to fucking go, So those kind of things don't interest me so much. They don't seem that smart.
Well, it seems fitting because you're such an intellectual person. Like I feel like you, even when you meet other people, I know that you've made comments that you really read off of people's intelligence and intellect, and I think that might have a lot to do with that kind of movie choice. Maybe
I'll take that. I'll thank you. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, jump scare. I don't like jump scares either. Like I don't like that adrenaline rush of a jump scare. With that it's physically uncomfortable, like literally physically uncomfortable. That adrenaline rush that makes your chest hurt. I don't enjoy that feeling. I'm not a daredevil. I would never jump out of an airplane. I would never bungee jump. Like that's not what I enjoy. Not at all. Far too aware of my mortality too.
Fair enough. We're getting about to that point where we're going to be saying goodbye because we know you have a schedule to keep. I apologize for my schedule, so if you want me to come on again in the future, if you have more questions you want to ask, I'd be happy to come back and answer them. I'm sorry to cut you off short. I feel really bad. No, I feel bad.
We can do a two-parter.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Before we sign off, where can we find you on social media and your projects?
The one-stop shopping would be bathingbook.com. If you go to Bathing Book, like take a bath, bathingbook.com, the book is there. The link to watch the film is there. And then if you go to the contact page, all my Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all those handles are all there too. I'm on Instagram pretty aggressively. And I'm on Facebook pretty aggressively. But the Facebook has that weird limitation of 5,000 friends, which I'm always at and trying to cut out people that have canceled their accounts and clean up some room. But the best place really is Instagram. And I'm Christine Elise McCarthy on Instagram.
And was there a YouTube channel still?
Yes, videovegan.com, and that will lead you to my show, my channel. I guess it's an old lady thing to call it a show. The channel is Delightful, Delicious, and Lovely, but the URL for it is videovegan.com.
And real quick, your appearances again on cons are going to be?
It's Sun and Monsterpalooza in Burbank here in California in 2 weeks. And then I think the second weekend of October in Manchester, England, and the final weekend of October in Orlando, Florida at Spooky Empire.
That is awesome. Well, again, thank you for joining us. If you can hang out one moment after I end the broadcast, I'd greatly appreciate it. Dani, you did wonderful on your first show. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you in 2 weeks. We're taking next week off because of the holiday. Thanks for joining us.
History deleted.